By ratcheting up the rhetoric, some will only inflame these situations to dangerous levels. Enough is enough. It has to stop.
Republican Congressman Eric Cantor, a member of the House Republican leadership, today claiming it's the Democrats and not Republicans who have fanned the rhetorical flames leading to threats of violence over the health care vote. But it's the Republican who ran for vice president, Sarah Palin, who is telling her supporters to reload and to fire the first salvo in the fight to take back districts where Democrats voted in favor of health care reform. On Facebook, Palin uses crosshairs to target the Democrats she thinks must be defeated. All of this as the FBI is now helping Democrats deal with the growing threats of violence and, in some cases, actual violence, including one congressman's brother having a gas line cut at his home and many others receiving death threats and frightening phone calls. Joining us for today's Schuster Showdown, liberal radio host Leslie Marshall and conservative radio host Armstrong Williams. Armstrong, do you believe that it's the Democrats' fault that this is erupting?
You know, I'm not going to lay blame on the Democrats or the Republicans. And also, Congressman Cantor had a gun fired through his office in Richmond, Virginia. And Senator Jim Bunning was threatened a few weeks ago. So it's happening on both sides. I think it's pretty disgusting. I think that we have laws on the books that deals with this kind of behavior, even the powdery substance that allegedly was sent to Congressman Wiener's office in New York. But I think what is missing in all of this is that the American people are just really angry, David, and upset over the health care bill. They're afraid for their way of life. They're afraid for what's going to happen.
Right, because Republican leaders have said that this is going to be Armageddon, that this is going to be the worst taking away of liberty in U.S. history. So, of course, some people are freaked out. But liberal radio host Leslie Marshall, is there an equivalency here? Is it happening equally on both sides?
Oh, no, this is absolutely ridiculous. The fact is, and we all know the facts instead of all the fiction and the fear that's being spread by the right, the health care reform bill as we have it now will affect over 30 million Americans who don't have health care. And for the people that do have health care, it's really not going to affect them. For the people that are freaking out about this and people talking about Armageddon, this is unconscionable. Gas lines cut in the home of not a congressman, but his brother, where there were 5 children, 4 of which were under the age of 8, from the right-wing moral family value pro-life group. You know, this reminds me, and the people saying that it's Democrats, this reminds me of when a woman says that she's been raped, somebody says she must be lying. This is reprehensible. It is illegal. It is illegal to threaten to assault someone. It is illegal to harass someone. It is illegal to incite violence or to incite a riot. And I think that the United States government, the FBI, and quite frankly, local law enforcement needs to start arresting people, and that's the only way this is going to stop.
Well, I hope that you're applying this standard for all that have been threatened, because I'm just as outraged about the Democrats being threatened as I am about the Republicans being threatened.
But I didn't hear that from you or your party.
Well, then you're not listening.
And I feel it was a few days and a few threats and violent action short.
Well, look, here's what Senator John McCain said on the Today Show regarding Sarah Palin's rhetoric. Watch this.
I have seen the rhetoric of targeted districts as long as I've been in politics. Please, any threat of violence is terrible, but to say that there's a targeted district or that we reload or go back into the fight again, please, that's just language. No, those are fine.
Those are fine. Armstrong Williams, what's keeping John McCain from being the leader that he once was? Once upon a time, John McCain would have said, no, this is not fine, this is unacceptable.
But, David, I think Senator McCain is absolutely correct. This is the way
it's okay to use crosshairs, to use rifle crosshairs to encourage people to reload at a time when people are showing up at rallies with guns already, and they're afraid that their guns are going to be taken away.
She's not threatening that people are threatened. She's just using language to get people out to turn back down the clock and vote out people when they ignore the will of the people.
Violence
it's the people who are afraid of this health care bill, and you have members of Congress, and including the White House, who has no idea what's in this bill until they really pass it and everybody look at the details.
They know what's in the bill. The problem is that the Republicans have been... No, the problem is that a lot of Americans don't know what's in this bill because they've been so confused and so misled, particularly by some members of Congress and some members of the conservative media who have done anything they can.
Both sides.
That's not both sides. It hasn't been. There has not been an equivalency. And Armstrong, you know better than that. In any case, Leslie Marshall and Armstrong Williams, thank you both for coming on today. Armstrong, you and I often disagree, but I love having you on. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, David.
Vice President